awareness for pity. It's not awareness for apathy, but it's awareness for acceptance, support, and include. Ladies and gentlemen, with those few words, I don't want to waste time. We're already behind with our time, so I will ask all our speakers to please be brief so that we allow everybody who is in the program to have their chance. If you are given 5 minutes, make it a point that you take exactly 2 minutes. Thank you. Right now, I will ask our Executive Dean, Professor Markul, opening and welcome, please.
Some unseen circumstances, he couldn't join us today. However, we are still waiting for the MEC who is on his way, so we felt that we should start nonetheless, so that when he comes in, then we can slot him into the program. So thank you very much. First, I need also to acknowledge the two keynote speakers, Professor Sekoto from the University of our own professor from the Departmental Inclusive Education, and the organizers of this event. Thank you so much, colleagues. Thank you so much, colleagues, for bringing together this community of advocates who are here to support us and to ensure that we are aware as well as we are included. We also have, I would like to acknowledge our postdoctoral fellow in the College of Education and the United Nations South Africa's Disability Rights Activist, Dr. E. Holmes. We have people from the district, from government departments in Gauteng. Thank you so much for attending. We also are represented in various ways with multilateral institutions that are here. We also have parents. Parents, thank you so much for raising such beautiful children. We really, really accept and acknowledge that, and we really appreciate the work that we have done. We have caregivers who are looking after these beautiful children. Thank you so much. And we also have academics and researchers who are passionate about the subject, who make sure that people understand what we are talking about. Non-governmental organizations in your corners where you scream and shout and make sure that we do look your direction. Thank you. Students and people living with autism spectrum, we are going to be hearing from them. They are a beautiful choir. They will be joining us shortly. We also have scholars who will be joining us online. This program is beamed across the world, and it makes it a global seminar. We have Professor Stephen Shaw from the University of New York. I think it's in the morning or very early. If it's not in the morning, it's extremely early for them. They will have to wake up at 3 in the morning just to be with us. So we are really, really honored to have them here. We also have Sir Richard Reiser, the General Secretary of the Commonwealth Disabled People Forum, also based in New York. We have Kathleen Sweeterwell from Shrub Oak International School in New York. We have Dr. Jonathan Lai from Autism Alliance, also, I'm not sure whether it's not New York but somewhere else. We have Jeffrey Gunzel, the CEO of the International Council of Development and Learning from New Jersey in the US. We have Linda Pretorius, the disability coach and director of the National Department of Social Science. Also, we have Professor Irma Elof, the former dean of the University of Pretoria across the street. So we have a lot of people who have joined hands together to share with us. So colleagues, a warm welcome to you all. Welcome to the university that bears the name of the country. Welcome to South Africa. So this university of the land has produced illustrious leaders, including Nobel Peace Prize winners such as Nelson Mandela and Archbishop Desmond Tutu, President Senator Kama, President Mugabe, the first woman to become the Reserve Bank governor, Dr. Jill Marcus. So it has produced quite a lot of people. The list is very, very long. This is just to mention a few. And as you are aware, we are in the midst of celebration. We are celebrating our 150 years of our existence. So this university has opened its doors for all people. It doesn't matter who you are, what you have, what kind of ability you have. We have our doors are wide open. And it's the first university that has not excluded anyone, irrespective of their race, religion, sex, culture, disabilities. It enables every individual, irrespective of who you are, to walk into this place and this day into the technology that has enabled us to even broaden our space here. So by the press of a button, you can become a UNISA student. By the press of a button, you can participate in the education space. So technology has enabled people to access higher education through the universal design methodologies that we are using in this university to ensure that no one is left behind. When the world closed down on many across the world due to COVID-19, UNISA students continued, all because we have open doors policy. Since its inception as the University of Cape of Good Hope in the 150 years, it gave hope to people, and it still continues on that legacy of giving hope to many people, those who come from marginalized and disenfranchised communities, especially people living with disabilities. We have graduated virtually every individual you can ever imagine. There was a time when we graduated a visually impaired student who is now in the Can we all rise? The MC has arrived. Thank you. Thank you so much, NBC, for joining us. We know that you are very busy. You have a very busy schedule, but you still make time to join us today. The MEC for Education in our province, in our beautiful province of Gauteng. When I was growing up, we used to call it Gauteng Mahuli. So in this beautiful province of ours. Thank you so much, Minister, and MEC, for joining us and also standing in for Honorable Itate Panyazwa Kisuki, who is also the opinion of Gauteng province. I just started the program and reaching people, and you just came at the right time, Minister, and thank you so much, Minister, for being here. And I was just giving them the welcome, our own welcome of the University of the Land, the mother of all universities in South Africa, and the grandmother and midwife of all open universities in the world. That's how who we are. So this event, it is organized by the Department of Inclusive Education, which is located in the College of Education. The College of Education is a producer of more than 50% of all student teachers. And maybe if I can say, raise your hand if you have any relations whatsoever with the user. This whole room will raise their hands. That's the role that we play. And we pride ourselves of being the leader in the digital transformation, in opening up access and ensuring that our students have the right qualifications. As we join the world in celebrating World Autism Month, we are also reminded that there is that uniqueness and diversity needs to be celebrated. Sometimes we forget in a culture where everybody has to be same. The sameness has actually removed that part of uniqueness, and yet when we are born, we are unique individuals. So today, as part of the United Nations family, we are gathered today to promote the rights and the well-being of persons with disabilities, including those with learning differences and developmental disabilities. The Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities entered into force, reaffirming the fundamental principles of universal human rights for all. Its purpose was to promote, protect, and ensure that the full and equal enjoyment of all human rights and fundamental freedoms by all persons with disabilities need to be promoted, respected to their inherent dignity. That's why the United Nations declared 2nd April as World Autism Awareness to highlight the need to help improve the quality of life of those living with autism so that they can live full and meaningful lives as an integral part of the society. You may ask yourself, why are we celebrating this today? And we know that on the 2nd of April, all of you would have been doing your things at the corner. So we wanted your attention on this one in particular. That's why you are here. We wanted your attention. And I'm told that the theme is blue, and I see other people in blue. And I also know that the other colors are blue, red, yellow, which are different notes that I was looking at that. Those are the colors. And if you're wearing any of those colors like me, you are in the right mood. If you are looking around and you see those different colors and follow them, signifies understanding and acceptance of the complex and the diverse nature of autism spectrum. The idea here is to work together so that we can promote acceptance and inclusion for people living with autism. Now, ladies and gentlemen, with those here, I warmly welcome you. In my language, just go even. So just relax and enjoy the program. We have a very interesting program, and we'll make sure that you have fun as we move along. Thank you so much.
Thank you to our executive team. What is the significance of World Autism Awareness and Acceptance? Ladies and gentlemen, please, let us welcome on stage Dr. Mtizwe, who is the chair of the department for the Department of Inclusive Education, to respond to that question. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Mtizwe.
Let me first observe the protocol, and I believe this is the institution's therefore I will observe the protocol right from the Vice Chancellor, our Principal, Professor Mika, the Office of the Vice Principal for Research and Innovation, Professor Meiwa, the Vice Principal Teaching, Learning and Day Scholarship and Student Support, Professor Mika. The Office of the Dean, the College of Education is our mother, our Executive Dean, Professor Makwe, the Deputy Dean in absentia, Professor Mabunda, our school directors, Professor Tabani, the School of Educational Studies, Professor Serutu in absentia, the School of Teacher Education, and all the chairs of departments who are present. Our esteemed guests, our Honorable NEC, Mr. Matuna Chivani, our honored guests from the government, Gauteng Department of Education, the different government organizations that are here, our esteemed international guests who have joined virtually, parents, ladies and gentlemen, greetings once more. Thank you for honoring our invitation to celebrate with us this important day. And our executive dean has already mentioned that April is marked the World Autism Awareness and Acceptance Month. The Department of Inclusive Education and the Center of Excellence in Disabilities in the College of Education at NISA, we saw it important that we join the campaign to observe this month. It is internationally recognized campaign at raising awareness, understanding, acceptance, and of autism spectrum disorder. The month-long observance seeks to educate public about autism, to promote acceptance and inclusion, and foster support for individuals on the autism spectrum and their families. So why is it important to celebrate this awareness month? Throughout its history, the United Nations Family has celebrated diversity and promoted the right and well-being of persons with disabilities, including learning differences and developmental disabilities. And in 2008, the Convention on the Right of People with Disabilities, they entered into force, reaffirming the fundamental principle of universal human rights for all. Its purpose is to promote, protect, and ensure the full and equal enjoyment of all human rights and fundamental freedom by all persons with disabilities, and to promote the respect for their inherent dignity. It is therefore vital to foster an inclusive and caring society for all, and to ensure that all children and adults with autism can lead full and meaningful lives. Ever since the United Nations General Assembly designated the 2nd of April as the World Autism Awareness Day in 2007, the United Nations has observed the day as a means to affirm and promote the full realization of all human rights. And for us to celebrate this month is to serve as a platform to educate the public about autism spectrum disorder, including its characteristics, prevalences, and challenges faced by individuals on the spectrum. This increased understanding can lead to more empathy, compassion, and support for individuals with autism and their families. Again, the World Autism Awareness and Acceptance Month emphasizes the importance of accepting neurodiversity and recognizing the unique abilities, strengths, talents, and perspectives of individuals with autism. By promoting acceptance and inclusion, the campaign aims to create a supportive and inclusive society where individuals with autism can thrive. The month provides an opportunity for advocacy efforts aimed at improving support services, resources, and policies for individuals with autism and their families. This includes advocating for access to health care, education, employment opportunities, and community support services tailored to the needs of individuals on the spectrum. The World Autism Awareness and Acceptance Month helped to reduce stigma and misconceptions surrounding autism by providing accurate information and challenging stereotypes. By increasing awareness and fostering acceptance, the campaign contributes creating a more inclusive, supportive environment for individuals with autism. And again, the month encourages communities to come together to support individuals with autism and their families through various activities, events, and initiatives. This collective effort help to build a sense of belonging and support network for individuals on the spectrum and their families, fostering a more supportive and understanding community. In closing, ladies and gentlemen, let us join together to promote understanding, acceptance, and inclusion for individuals with autism, and strive towards a more compassionate and supportive society for all. Thank you.
Professor Kara is the Director for the School of Educational Studies in the College of Education at Advocacy. Prof, may you please introduce our next speaker.
He was born in Kali, Soweto, and Matome Opano Shilwai. I think the most important part is the second name of Opano, more so relevant for this occasion. Was introduced to politics at an early age. His first experience in political activism began before the historic 1994 elections, where he distributed African National Congress electioneering material across different villages in Limpopo. The young Shilwani would attend meetings to listen to singing, absorbing excitement and jubilant mood of that time about booming democracy and freedom. He later got involved in student structures at his school, which saw him elected into the student leadership structures, including becoming a prefect at some schools. He maintained his activism when he went to further his studies at Midrand Graduate Institute in 2002, where he joined and later led the South African Student Congress, SASCO. He was instrumental in setting up first SASCO branch in Midrand Graduate Institute. So we're not talking about somebody who's very far from activism within education. It was during the same period that he became SASCO branch chairperson, then a regional executive member, and subsequently the provincial deputy chair of student movement in 2005. In the same period, he was very active in the ANC Youth League, where he served as branch chairperson, firstly elected in 2003. He went on to lead the ANC Youth League as a chairperson and secretary of the on multiple occasions. He has led the Youth Communist League. He led SACP in Captain Park branch. In 2004, he went to lead the ANC as a branch executive and went to become the president secretary. He was secretary and chair of three uninterrupted teams. 2018, he was appointed as the ANC Youth League provincial trustee. 2014, he was elected as ANC Youth League provincial chair of Parental. 2018, Shirwani was elected into ANC provincial executive committee at the party's 13th provincial conference. 2022, at the 14th ANC provincial conference, he was again elected as a provincial executive committee member of the APC. In his professional life, his first stint as a lawmaker began in 2018, where he was deployed in the Housing Provincial Legislature as the chairperson of the Education Portfolio Committee. So we can't start with education. He currently serves, as we know, as the APC of Education in Gauteng. He holds a BSc in Information System, Diploma in Property Development. This one we did with my alma mater, so yes, the University of I cannot beat your University of the Lenti, so I will stop there. Certificates, development of SME in developing countries from JICA, which is Japan International Cooperative Agency. He has a postgraduate diploma in business administration that he got at GIBS. The Education MEC recently completed his MBA with Gordon Institute of Business Studies. So colleagues, we are among someone who is not afraid of books. MEC Chibai, over to you, sir.
Last year, just to give you a brief, our department for the first time received new bodies. So we can see that that's our intention as a country provincial government. Quite a number of departments, big departments. Education is now, in terms of budget, the biggest, followed by health. They also have to improve quite significantly. So that's the meeting of the premiers here. There's more like a premier was very happy. We use something to chance. Program director, Dr. Mbeu, from the Department of Education, Dr. Mutikwe, Chairperson, Professor Marco, I'll explain later and why. Professor Pasha, Dr. Ichos, correct. And I always use a number of times to call me before the children and just tell them the story. Yeah, Professor Tabani, Ms. Carter, Ms. McLean, Trabo, Dr. Costa is here, I see some of my principals are here. Fellow participants from different backgrounds, today, we gather to shed light on a topic that only deserves our attention, not only deserves our attention, but demands our action. Autism awareness and acceptance. As the Gauteng provincial government is to ensure that every member of our society, regardless of their unique abilities, is embraced with understanding, respect, and opportunities for growth. We appreciate the fact that the mandate to govern the province of Gauteng is anchored on the constitutional values and ideals of our republic. We therefore strive to be a caring government sensitive to the diversity of our province, including those facing different challenges. We are alive to the imperative both to create a social environment and introduce a battery of interventions aimed at enabling the thriving of all the residents of our province, in spite of the challenges they may be facing. It is within this context of creating a humane society that the Gauteng provincial government approaches the challenges of overcoming hurdles faced by persons with autism spectrum disorder. We strive to increase exposure and knowledge of autism, so that the quality of those living with autism lead to a meaningful life and part of society. We want society to recognize and celebrate the unique talents of people with autism. To this end, the Gauteng provincial government has been celebrating the International Autism Day over the past few years. Therefore, Program Director, autism, a complex neurodevelopmental condition, affects individuals in diverse ways, shaping their perceptions, interactions, and experiences. It's not a limitation, but a distinctive aspect of one's identity, deserving of recognition and accommodation. In Gauteng, we recognize the richness of our diversity, and we are committed to fostering an environment where every person, including those with autism, can thrive. The reality that communication challenges can be a significant concern for individuals with autism. Difficulty in expressing thoughts and emotions, understanding social cues, and engaging in reciprocal conversations can lead to feelings of frustration and isolation. It's crucial for us to create environments that support alternative forms of communication and provide patience and understanding when interacting with individuals with autism. autism spectrum. Sensitivities are another common concern for people with autism. Everyday sensory experiences that may seem unusual to others, such as loud noise, bright lights, and certain textures, can be overwhelming and expressive for individuals with autism. Therefore, creating sensory-friendly environments and respecting individual sensory preference can greatly elevate their discomfort and promote a sense of comfort and security. Navigating social situations and building meaningful relationships can be challenging for individuals with autism. Difficulty in understanding social norms, interpreting nonverbal cues, forming connection with others can lead to feelings of loneliness and exclusion. Therefore, for us, it's important for us to foster inclusive environments that promote acceptance, empathy, genuine connections, allowing individuals with autism to feel valued and included in social settings. Our role as Gauteng provincial government extends beyond mere acknowledgement. We are tasked with the responsibility of implementing policies, initiatives that promote inclusion, provide support, and empower individuals with autism to reach their full potential. Through collaborative efforts with communities, educators, healthcare professionals, and advocacy groups, we strive to create a society where differences are celebrated and barriers are dismantled. To date, we have over 3,000 parents, community members, and teachers who are capacitated in this regard. Education lies at the heart of our commitment to autism awareness and acceptance. We are dedicated to ensuring that our schools are equipped with resources, training, and support necessary to cater to the unique needs of students on the autism spectrum. So at school level, ongoing school governance support and parental support continues. We will continue capacity building on a range of relevant aspects, including for all staff at the schools, educators, support staff, hostel staff, administrative staff, security, and general staff. By fostering inclusive learning environment and promoting understanding among peers, we aim to cultivate a culture of empathy and acceptance from an early age. Moreover, we recognize the importance of providing vocational training and employment opportunities for individuals with autism. Through partnerships with business and organizations, we seek to promote workplace diversity and create pathways to meaningful employment. By harnessing the talents and abilities of individuals with autism, we not only enrich our workforce, but we also demonstrate the value of inclusion in achieving shared prosperity. In our pursuit of autism awareness and acceptance, we must also prioritize access to healthcare and support services. We are committed to expanding mental health services, diagnostic facilities, and therapeutic interventions to ensure that individuals with autism receive the comprehensive care they deserve. By addressing the gaps in healthcare infrastructure and promoting the interventions, we can empower individuals with autism to lead fulfilling and independent lives. However, our efforts must extend beyond policies and programs. They must be grounded on genuine commitment to empathy, understanding, and solidarity. It is only through fostering a culture of acceptance and compassion that we can truly create a society where every individual, regardless of their neurodiversity, feels valued, respected, and included. In summary, autism intersects with multiple sustainable development goals, particularly those related to health, education, inequality, and partnerships. By addressing the needs and rights of individuals with autism within the framework of the SDGs, we can work towards a more inclusive and equitable world for all. As I've highlighted earlier, we have over 9 teachers that we have capacity to understand autism teaching strategies and behavior management. There are now 7 autism-specific schools, with 3 of them in the township, and we are also planning to increase the 33 autism-specific units at our special schools. All our regions have resource centers that offer specialized governance programs for special schools, funded training for district officials, teachers, therapists, class assistants, and families. These people have gone through a rigorous training that covers topics such as marathon, autism communication networks, TEACH, which is treatment and education of autistic and communication handicapped children, diagnosing learners with autism for psychologists, behavioral management, classroom structure and management, preparation of individual support plan, ISP, and lesson plans, screening for therapists, classroom observation, skills development, curriculum differentiation. It is our commitment that we will have more campaigns and programs aimed at promoting the understanding and acceptance of autism. We will invest in research and resources that can improve the lives of people with this condition. This includes funding for early intervention and therapy, as well as support for families and caregivers. So let me reaffirm our dedication to promoting autism awareness and acceptance in our communities. Let us stand together in solidarity with individuals with autism and their families, advocating for their rights, amplifying their voices, and championing inclusion in every aspect of our society. Let me conclude by stressing the understanding and addressing the concerns of individuals with autism that they require empathy, awareness, and commitment to creating inclusive environments where everyone is ready and respected. By working together to overcome these challenges, we can create a more inclusive and supportive society for individuals with autism and their families. Together, let us build a future where diversity is celebrated, barriers are broken, and every person, regardless of their abilities, has the opportunity to thrive. Let me now turn to, I see you've not brought my children here. I usually like to have my children. They need to listen in a way that often fails to grasp the depth of their brilliance. And welcome, good morning. As I was saying, that when we turn to our children, I want them to listen. Listen in a way that often fails to grasp the depth of their brilliance. They need to stand tall, they need to defy expectation, and rewrite the narrative of what it means to be truly exceptional. Their journey will be marked by challenges, but within those challenges lies the seeds of their strength, resilience, and unwavering determination that inspire us all to push beyond our limits, embrace the unknown, and celebrate the unique human experience that they bring to life. Let me leave them with this message, with this beautiful poem that I've always read, and I daily now, because it really, for me, puts it in perspective and empowers us to really understand what is It reads, the world speeds fast, but I'm not sure. Where I fit in, what's my cure? Sensory overload is hard to bear, but in my mind, I'm somewhere else, somewhere there. I see things differently, colors and sounds. It's hard to explain my thoughts. It's hard to explain. My thoughts spin around. My brain moves in patterns. I see the whole. But social cues are lost. It's a struggle to unfold. My movements may seem strange or repetitive, but they bring me comfort. They are my directive. I need structure and routine to make sense of this world that's confusing. It's my defense. I may not look you in the eye, but that doesn't mean we try to connect and communicate. To be seen, to show you the beauty of my autism. For in my mind, I'm brilliant and bright. And understanding, I'll shine even more bright. I'm not broken, I'm not wrong, I'm just different. And that's my autism song. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.
Let me go on, please. Thank you very much to our MC. Ladies and gentlemen, we may be seated. Mr. MC, it is really very humbling to learn that we have got support from the Gauteng Department of Education when it comes to learners and communities with autism, both at schools and in research. It gives us hope. Thank you very much. So our next item now is the item by these beautiful souls in front of us. They are going to give us a musical item. Over to you.
In the jungle, the mighty jungle.
with autism, thank you very much. That rendition was awesome. I've been just told that is their autism song, and I think let us adopt it. It's our autism song. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. You may know us. Thank you. The message was clear. Very clear. Autism is not a sickness. It's just that people are special. I'm special. So, ladies and gentlemen, in the meantime, right. In the meantime, as I said earlier, that my program is slightly different from yours. So most of your programs are written, there is a comfort break. What comfort break? You don't need any comfort. So we are just moving on with our program, and now we are going to listen to our first keynote address by Professor Spoto from University of Johannesburg. I don't want to make a mistake. I nearly said communist.
Where is it? Thank you, Professor Spoto. I think much of introduction and justice I will do to your community decision. But ladies and gentlemen, Professor Spoto is the director of the Center at the University of Johannesburg, the Center for Neurodiversity. He is by spirit and himself completely Lisa staff member. He just his physical body and the paid space somewhere else. He's a professor who leads in career guidance and counseling. He published vastly in that area, and issues of special needs are his forte. He has worked with me in different settings, including the Department of Higher Education, where he was in charge of developing, rather doing a desktop research for the development of testing and training for career guidance practitioners. Professor Spoto, over to you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I borrow the protocol that was rendered by Dr. Mutito this morning, and say that I'm really humbled to have been given this opportunity to come and talk about a subject that all of us need to learn about. I want to borrow from the song that has depth and simplicity of here for us right now. I'm special. That is a deep message. And how many of us do we recognize that speciality? I would like to start by sharing the journey that encompasses not only autism but neurodiversity in general. We will see, I will share as I go where we come from. My journey with within the support and creation of awareness in terms of disability come from when I was a little boy. I was told Prof. Irma Ilov is here. She's online. She's one of the people who nurtured the love of issues of career guidance and disability. The message is simple there. Every parent, I was so happy to hear that Claudia Soweto, I was born in a place called Hatladios. Coincidence. But the central message here that we all have to take to heart is that children are born in families and they grow in families, but eventually every parent wants the life of their children to have meaning. But how do we give that meaning? When? And this is where now the issue of disability that you see behind us, Cape Town was in the lead in terms of disabilities. But it was later afterwards that I want to share a small history of where issues of the Center for Neurodiversity emerged from the University of Johannesburg. I think a couple of years ago, government and the Department of Higher Education got together and realized that we really need to implement inclusion in a very strategic manner. So then, a center was born at the University of Pretoria, the Center for Visual Impairment Studies, to which we were very instrumental. We traversed the whole of South Africa, talking to people to try and understand how best can we help in this section. The center is there, and it's up and running, and there's also a post-graduate diploma in visual impairment studies that is tied to the center. Then there was another center, the Center for Deaf Studies at Wits University. All of these were supported by the DHET and the European Union. The importance is that although we want to encompass everything, we need somehow to address special issues, as it were. So this is the center which is doing marvelous work as it is, but we were the last bonds, in a way, in the triple approach of trying to address inclusion, the Center of Excellence, and a national hub. I would like to emphasize this very significantly. National hubs are not just those buildings that are in the universities. They are supposed to be used by the nation, meaning anyone who has an interest in any of the centers that I spoke about, or who has a need, they should consult this center so that their needs are being addressed. I would like to say that in terms of why the Center for Neurodiversity, really it was to promote social justice and equity from when the child is born up to where the child would want to be in life. And then again to build appreciation for diversity. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not easy. We are all diverse, but it is even deeper when you talk in terms of neurodiversity. We are here commemorating autism spectrum. In itself, there's so much diversity. And there's so much to understand. There's so much to contend with. And then thirdly, the Center for Neurodiversity is supposed to enhance inclusive education. As I said, looking at a child who is born, ultimately a parent would want their child to make something of their life. This center, Mr. Matuna, is at the Soweto campus. We would humbly want to invite you there at some point for you to see the little that we are doing there. But again, the center is to raise awareness of strengths and unique needs of neurodiverse learners. I would like to emphasize the strength part of it, which mostly, given our own, I'm going to use a funny word, our own, I nearly said paradigm, but allow me to say world view. Our own world view of disability is mostly looked at from a negative perspective, where we emphasize needs and not strengths. And here we are saying, in the creation of awareness at the center, we strive to raise awareness in terms of the strengths. All of these children who were in condoms, each one of them has unique strengths that we need to identify and nurture. I referred to neurodiversity, ladies and gentlemen, and as we can see, autism is only but one aspect of it. But at the center, we do not discriminate. We look at most of them, and we are a center that is training educational psychologists. And therefore, we cannot say you are only concentrating on this particular. It will depend on individual choices and inclinations in terms of education, where they want to be. So you can see the enormity of the task that is facing us, in that, for example, when somebody says, I want to understand dyslexia, we cannot say no. I want to understand dyscalculia, we cannot say no. All of these are important and the question of how best we do this. We are fortunate that our own Vice Chancellor has, in an attempt to support what we do in higher education, him and his family have started a scholarship that is focusing on Down syndrome. You don't see it here. I don't know if I'm reading well. You don't see it here. And amongst the forums that we have attended, people speak less of Down syndrome. And yet, it is one of the neurodiversity and conditions that need to be understood. So our Vice Chancellor decided that he will start the scholarship. We have 4 students who have started this year who will be researching in terms of neurodiversity. This is a center, as I said, that is a brainchild of the Department of Educational Psychology. And when government and the EU said to us, what can we do, can you do? Then the department decided that it will go by way of looking in terms of neurodiversity issues. It is situated at the Soweto campus, and adjacent to it is the Funda Ujabule School, where again our students are practicing there to learn, because we cannot hope that someone who's sitting in New York is going to come and solve our problems here. We need to do something now. And ladies and gentlemen, we are not very far in South Africa. As it were, I happen to be with somebody from Europe on Sunday, and I said to him, I'm going to talk about neurodiversity tomorrow. And he says, what's that? And I'm talking about a full professor. This goes to show that this effort that we did of creating awareness is huge, and we should never underestimate it. So the major focus of our center there is that it addresses also the issue that you spoke to, the Departmental, of looking at issues of assessment. Where do we start? Because that's where we have a really big problem. We have our hospitals, we have our professionals who are dealing with issues of assessment. But people are always talking about the backlog. People are always being told we can only address your child in 3 years to come. And at that point, where is this child? I would like to refer to your team here, that is led by Dr. Costa and my friend Dr. Noshin. By the way, Dr. Noshin is actually a research associate in our department. So we work so closely together, we learn from one another because these are complex issues and extremely complex as that. Again, we have community education campaigns, and then we have collaboration and engagement with community stakeholders. When we come knocking, when we say, we need your help, please open those doors, because as a national hub, our wings should spread to accommodate everybody. We also have training for parents, and we have just held a very successful one at the Soweto Center, where the parents were talking about the challenges that they face, but we were asking them again, then from here, where do we go? So we are hoping that in future, we will have a bigger participation of parents of children with autism, so that we talk to people who live this on a daily basis. And then to reach out to communities that do not have psychological services as part of addressing the SDG 3. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have, as a nation, we are so much disadvantaged in terms of our rural areas, where the majority of the people would be and need the services. For us to be able to get there, that they will need what we are referring to as a mobile clinic, and so that our students can go through the community instead of expecting people to travel all the way to Soweto. That governor who is raising a child with autism or any other of the neurodiversity conditions, who would say, I don't have money to travel, our people need to go to them. So anyone who is listening, who can assist in this particular manner, would really be happy to talk to them, because, as I said, the centers are in universities, and most of the time, we are hardly out there. And we can't expect people to be always traveling to us. And it would be good for a team to say, today we are doing such and such a community, so that at least the people there can get services instead of us expecting them to come to us. So in a nutshell, allow me to share some ongoing and planned projects that we are looking at the center. We are saying that this center provides resources and research and professional development, as well as training. We are inclined, ladies and gentlemen, not to think in silos. We want to take a multidisciplinary approach, and whoever is out there who wants to hold hands with us, they are most welcome, because this is a mammoth task, as I said. So we have started with research, resources not yet there. I was saying to Dr. Mutitwe, we are very, very young, and therefore a lot is yet to happen. But the professional part of it, as I said, we train educational psychologists, but we also have friends out there who will come and train our psychologists, our educational psychologists, whoever is in the mental health professions. We will be holding this in August. We will have 2 specialists who will come. The University of Johannesburg belongs to a network called Network 21, and it is the only university in Africa that belongs to that network. I wish UNISA can find a key and be able to enter there. I'm looking at you, Ndatitabani, because this is very important. Those are resources that as partners we are able to tap into and allow spaces for people who should come and help us generate knowledge from our perspective. I I said that the issues of career counseling, career guidance are very important. I know my friend always chastises me because there is a policy that says these learners, when they reach a certain age, they have to exit. And I argue, and I said, no, they should not exit. What are they exiting? They should rather transition to a different space where they should continue with life. Otherwise, it's as if we are actually starting them that, no, the door is open, go, and we don't want to see you. So we at the center, our first and most important project is the project on career transition, where we are saying, let's hold hands with the families, and then hold hands with the schools, and then work towards the world of work eventually, where we are saying, as a parent, you may have identified specific needs that this child has. During school, let's not disturb that, but remember I spoke about the strengths. Let's look at those abilities that they have and nurture those through education so that eventually they can get to the world of work. This is a young man who I met at the University of California, Davis, who served as, he gave me a nice cappuccino that he made. He is autistic himself. And the university has a very interesting program that I wish that here again, I'm looking towards you, that our universities could start having programs such as these that allow these children we saw in front of us to have opportunities, to have a sojourn in the university. They are taught not the regular curriculum, but they are taught not a regular curriculum, but increasing that aspect of themselves to say the skills that we have. And ultimately, they go out with a certificate that they have also attended the university. How nice, because the issues of self-esteem also have to be there and they have to be addressed. And I'm going to run through this in terms of time, but I hope that the participants will be afforded the opportunity to have the slides so that they can have a look at this. What is important for me is preparation for the world of work. We are sitting where we are looking at people who, unfortunately, most of the time, other people's lives are locked in their lives. When can we release this and say that we are at a space where we can say our children are now engaged and they are taking care of themselves such that a parent in Soweto asks the question, what will happen to me, to my child when I'm no longer there? That's not a simple question. And we can only address that by starting to prepare our children for the world of work. Not easy, but it is done. This statement is controversial. Psychologists, please forgive me. But Ortega says that neurodiversity movement promotes neurological self-awareness and a rejection of psychological interpretation. Not only the psychologists do that, we do that as parents, as community. Oh, this one, he's like this. How do you know? We have already labeled the person before we can get to know them and allow them the space to be themselves. So again, we are addressing the issue of what is happening in our education system. We have processes, systems in place that say this child cannot be assessed by a person who is not qualified. But allow me to differ a little bit, ladies and gentlemen, and say the following. The teachers who are there on a daily basis, they know these children more than anything. The parents know that. Who said that we cannot develop educator-led career screening systems that will help us to identify the strengths that these children have, so that later on, at least something based on what has been observed is happening, so that we fill this gap that is there in their education. So we look at educators as navigators of learners' career paths, and then inclusive practices in the field of psychological career assessment. That is the project that Prof. Tawan was talking about, that we are looking at now. We have the teachers called life orientation teachers. Most of the time, what do they teach? Can they not be trained to identify the challenges that are there, so that eventually a teacher comes back maybe and says, I have identified this. How can this be addressed? They pass it on now to the qualified and professionals who can then take it over from there. So again, unidentified or undiagnosed problems that may affect career planning and career development. There's a lot in the field, but we would like to take care of that. So we have, in a way, been developing small projects, research projects, to try and address this, and looking at the screening and assessment, but which will be addressed. Even a parent, when he comes, could say that I need an instrument that I can use, and I will identify where the challenges are, where the strengths are, and then I pass it on to the qualified person who can take it over from me. And then we are proposing a model where we are saying that we are creating a resilience cycle through career screening. Here we are looking at the strengths that are identified through career screening. This is where we want to go, where we can say this individual, their strengths are here. How do we enhance those? And then looking again at honing the strengths that they have through training and knowledge, as well as looking at something very important, self-awareness, self-esteem, and we need to augment those through every process that can help. Let this child say, let me talk about this one who was in front. I can actually lead the choir. I can actually sing. And instead of when we hold big functions, we give the popular people opportunities. Why can't we bring these children and say, come and render a song or two? And these children earn something. They will say, we sang such and such an event. That is important. So it speaks to their self-awareness. In terms of what we do at the center, we embarked on a radio show that took the whole of last year, and we will also continue to do that. We use UJFM, and we have different speakers. Anyone who would be interested to participate, please talk to me, because we want to hear your voices. We want the community to learn from you. We want to learn from one another. And as you can see, this man, I think is on my right, I don't know whether you be your left, that's the Vice Chancellor. He was one of the speakers there. And these are the voices that we want to hear. We also have a TV show that people can come and get recorded. And we are, in a way, creating awareness, passing the message, so that we can say, at least as a Center for Neurodiversity, and someone will talk about autism today, another about dyslexia, another about Down syndrome, so and so forth, so that we address most of them, it's not all of them. This is the training that we had Friday. The parents were just over the moon. And this is part of where, as higher education, we need to strengthen that aspect. Let us learn from the parents. Let us learn from one another. I can challenge all of you right now, especially those of you who speak African language. What is autism in Sebenda people? The lady says 0. What is it in Sesotho? What is it in Zulu? Then we have a problem. How we going to explain to that old lady, old man, who is taking care of this child, that it is not Botswana? You see what I'm saying? But it is because this person has what is called autism. How do you explain that? Where do you start? So we have a long way to go even in terms of research. So talking to these parents has been very important. But fortunately, we have produced some work out there. There are some publications. And here, Madam Dean, I would like to appeal that it is at a stage where I would say that we need to hold hands with the Center of Excellence of Disability at UNISA. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much.
And transition. So this exiting term, I will never use it again because of you, Prof. It has got that negative connotation with it. It's like people are disbanded, thrown out of something. But unfortunately, that isn't something. Our next speaker will be introduced by Professor Ensa Johnson. Round of applause for Paul, please.
Good morning, colleagues. It's a pleasure for me to introduce Mary Johnson. She is an assistant professor, associate professor in the Department of Inclusive Education at UNISA and Parental. And over the past 30 years, she has been a preschool teacher, trade unionist, a community activist, I have to look at now what I'm saying, policy advisor, and a researcher and scholar devoted to autism. But most of all, Prof. Mary is a proud mother of Leo, a teenager with autism. With me, we are looking forward to your presentation.
Thank you for hosting us at your event a few weeks ago. I was so pleased to accompany Dr. Coates. And good morning to my team and school director and chair of my department. And to all of you, our very special guests. I also want to acknowledge the presence of members of the UNICA School for Learners with Autism community. We have the acting principal with us, Principal Hanley. You are very welcome. You have your head of department. I know it's teacher Yanista. Funded man. Very good. We also have our previous chairperson of the school governing body, Mr. Hani Kusaleta. Thank you for being here. Peter, Angie, there's many people from the UNICA community who will join us today, and I've been so privileged to And although we haven't had recent conversations, I'm very pleased that our work actually dovetails beautifully. So we'll be sharing what UNISA is doing teaching and learning and our student support. Our research on autism spectrum disorder and neurodiversity, our community engagement programs on autism, and our international collaboration. So in my work, I employ a social-ecological approach and the theoretical lens of an autism parent practitioner. So it has a platform for autism and neurodiversity at UNISA. And, you know, like the host mixed family, we also see ourselves as privileged to be raising children on the spectrum in my family network. And since 2017, our Department of Inclusive Education has implemented a range of programs to promote the inclusion of learners with autism across the lifespan. So we begin with early screening and identification and also early intervention. And those interventions actually find practical expression in our undergraduate modules on inclusive education and in other programs, and I'll share some of that information with you. And then our big drive has been on specialist teaching strategies for learners on the autism spectrum, but not just in special school context, also in mainstream context and in our full service schools. And so a lot of our emphasis is actually on how teachers differentiate the curriculum and differentiate the learning environment and teaching and learning resources, and also, very importantly, the assessment of our learners. And then we promote inclusive practices across the whole education system, so including our early child care and education programs, our teacher training targeting mainstream full service and special schools. Our students are also in TVET colleges and in higher education institutions. And so we've got 3 programs that we have developed that we're very proud of. The first is a course on teaching learners with autism spectrum disorder. It is marketed as a short learning program. We hope that it will come back to the colleges of education, where we manage the stakeholder community to enroll on these programs. We also have 2 postgraduate diplomas, one focused on inclusive education and second on disability status, but very importantly, the practical teaching strategy. What we want to see teachers do is, I always remind our students, what we do in education is an applied science. We want to see change in teachers' practice in the classroom. So we are teaching differentiation of curriculum planning, lesson planning, assessment strategies, and teaching methods that are appropriate for our children who are neurodiverse. And then we're very proud that we've had over 40 students in South Africa, across the 9 provinces, in Africa and internationally, who have specialized in autism spectrum disorder. Our postgrad students are focused on one or other aspect of autism. So we've had support for mothers, support for early screening, early intervention, teaching strategies, management and leadership of schools. We've had students focus on support for who are education leaders, they're principals of schools, they're departmental officials, they're training coaches. And we also have several M&D students who themselves identify as neurodiverse. And that's important. And schools must send our students through to us. Because unless we see included in our ESG program and in our foundation case, they mustn't drop out. They drop out. And our stats report of October 2023 is showing us that our dropout rate is possibly as high as 63%. And we need to address that so that they reach the TVET programs and higher education. And these students who identify as neurodiverse, I see them almost as, they're not my babies, but they get that level of tender, loving care and support. We look after our postgrad students because we need to support them according to their individual needs. And then we're proud of our first scholarly book on autism in Africa. I hope that the MEC will accept a copy as a gift from Lisa today. And we have volume 2 in the development phase. Our postdoctoral fellow, I know Mrs. Dixie's mom-in-law is here, and our grandmother-in-law and his wife is here. And I want to thank them that, they've had me and my family over to their home to check us out and to make sure that Emil would be in good hands. I feel so privileged to be mentoring Dr. Cole. We've worked together now since the 1st of December, but we're already finishing each other's sentences. How about that? And, his work is very important strategically for UNISA. He'll be enhancing support for UNISA neurodiverse staff and students. And he'll be targeting our online learning and teaching platform. And then I just want to share 3 key messages with all of you today. So after 30 years of democracy, we know that in 2024, we will be observing, it's 30 years since the Salamanca Statement. It's 30 years of democracy in South Africa. And yet, 70% of our children with disabilities, including autism, remain out of school. We need to understand autism as a spectrum condition. So we are totally on the same page there, Professor Sikoto. And then all our research of these 40+ students and our other collection of students at UNISA working in the area of inclusive education and disability studies. That body of knowledge that we have very proudly produced since 2010, 2011 in our department is all showing that our biggest barrier to inclusion is our teachers' attitudes. So we will be doubling down on that within our undergraduate teacher training and all other continuous professional development programs that we have at UNISA. And then I think the spectrum looks something like this. This is actually, I think, Emil, our next sort of theoretical work where we need to start having this conversation with like-minded people like yourself, Professor Sikoto, of how does the spectrum possibly look and how do we operationalize support? Because even in our special schools, we hear stakeholders talk about high support and low support. But if there's high and low, there must be all these degrees above and below and in between. And so we know that there's very high functioning totally undiagnosed. They might do well in school, but they have social challenges, emotional challenges, well-being challenges. Then there's high functioning that could be diagnosed or undiagnosed in regular school. They may be receiving some support. The support is also focused on early childhood and then it just stops. So that's why we emphasize support across the lifespan. And then we've got this thing where I think my son falls, the missing middle. Where should they be? Because they might be not getting the, and what one that all these learners have in common is that our learners are not reaching their full learning and developmental potential. And then we have the low functioning who may be in special schools for autism, but even there, these children here, each one is unique and different. They're not the same, but we group them as if they are. And then the low functioning, which we know, we might be, missing it. They may be in the learners who are excluded on waiting lists. They are out of school in time. And so, Emil is such a good, I've been taking him with me. He's been doing our online lectures for our BEd Honours students. Big groups of students at a time. And last week in a BEd Honours lecture, there were only 3 students who were brave enough to put up their hands on the online lecture. And they were all 3 parents of children with autism. So we are privileged that we're able to actually go into these conversations with students and, change I always say we do 3 things. We train a teacher's head, their content knowledge, their hands, their skills, and their hearts, because that's the heart of inclusion. I think that's the cover of our book. Emil and I have taken on volume 2, and through the Commonwealth Disabled People's Network, we are inviting participation from all the African countries. It will be African Perspectives volume 2. We seek to build on what we did in volume 1, and we are publishing with our students. I have deep conversations with my students where we just go through a process before they even decide on what the topic will be, because the work must be meaningful. And then for community engagement, what we call here engaged scholarship projects, we focus on augmentative and alternative communication for our learners with complex language support needs. We're training teachers in 3 provinces currently. Our project Transitions from Special Schools to the World of Work is led by our colleague Dr. Mkuma. He brought the project. He came from KZN. We have a big network. We are working with special schools, TVET colleges, and businesses, and the provincial department in KZN is very supportive, and we invite partnerships and collaboration wherever we can across the country. And before 2022, where thanks to Mr. Mlambo from the College of Education and the Center for Continuous Education and Training in our college, brought us 300 students in the Eastern Cape, but before that, the majority of our students who completed the course in teaching learners with autism have been parents. And so I feel very privileged to be providing some small support to the autism community. And in proud of our international collaborations. Professor Enzo Johnson, who introduced me, leads this project. It's called the Pictorial Supported Person-Centered Care for Children, PICPEC. It was developed by the Institute of Health and Care Sciences in Sweden, and we are the lead South African institution with colleagues at the University of Pretoria, the Witwatersrand, and the University of the Western Cape. And we currently very ambitiously and daringly are seeking funding to extend this project. It started with children with cancer and congenital heart disease, and we are taking that project from the clinical setting because the children who had gastroenterology problems in that pediatric unit, many of them were children with autism. And so that's how I got involved in the project, and we now seek to extend this project in the Global South with partners in Colombia and in India. And the focus here is children with autism and young people who identify as neurodiverse.
As I said at the beginning, two key words: awareness and acceptance. Awareness is easier. It can be created. Awareness can be developed. But acceptance, it is tricky. It has got something to do with attitudes. Unfortunately, from what we learned from Prof. Mary right now is that there's still a problem with our teachers and their attitude towards disability, which will create, at the end, a problem with acceptance and support. Ladies and gentlemen, I know we all can do it too, right? Sorry, your multidisciplinary comment? I've been told that before tea, some people want to give me gifts. I clearly accept that.
Thank you, colleagues. This is the time that we now presenting gifts to our honorable guests, and the first person to receive the gift will call our honorable MDC, Mr. Matume Chidwani.
Yes. Some picture, posing.
Our keynote speaker, Professor Sifutu.
Jonah, do you pause or what do you do? Just colleagues, please bear with us. We're currently on a comfort break. Please do not mind. Nothing will be happening for the next 15 minutes. Thank you. Sorry, the sound is currently off. There is nothing happening right now. We are currently on a comfort break, so I have muted the sound.
Not.
Let's get ready for our next speaker.
Who's next?
We are allowed to finish what we are doing on our tables. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we should be starting now, but we're still waiting for our officials. All right, can we all take our seats? May we all take our seats, please? May we all be seated? May we all be seated so that we give our speaker a chance. Well, I feel a little bit pity for our speakers from now on. I've been lenient for the whole day. Things have changed. No leniency now. I just cut you. Sometimes you've got to be cruel to be kind. So if possible, please, I'm just begging our speakers, if possible, let it not be more than 10 minutes. The shorter, the better. So now get ready for our next speaker. Gauteng Department of Education programs and activities to promote autism awareness and acceptance. Delivered by Dr. Nashin Amin. A big applause for her, please.
Good day. I think it's a good day. To our executive dean from UNISA, our professors from UNISA, our hosts, Dr. Host, I met you when you were not a doctor, neither was I. It was an absolute pleasure to have met you the very first time we spoke to parents. To the Premier's office, Mr. Zain, our director, Dr. Costa, our professors from different universities, our international guests, our principals, learners, and everybody that I haven't mentioned, our organizations like Autism SA, Autism Advocacy. I do a lot of work for them voluntarily in Shoshangrube. Please wave to us. My favorite lot there. Autism Advocacy, yes? Show us who you are. Yes. Autism spectrum disorder. I am beautiful, not broken. Different, not less. Challenged, not challenging. Overwhelmed, not spoiled. Autism is not a choice, however acceptance is. This was taken from my handbook, or a book that was published by Randburg Clinic School. And in this book, it speaks about parents. It gives them quotes, it gives the book passages on them, and it's like a coffee book. And as I was paging through it, this caught my attention, and I thought, this is where I'm going to begin. Because I'm not only an academic, I am a parent with an adult who is autistic. And yes, I spoke the other day and I said the most challenging thing in one's life. But here I am, working as an associate professor with Professor Sakato at UJ. And yes, it's about the research done by our parents and our learners that's going to put us on another level. And as I listened to the speakers, it was like we had read each other's speeches and we were complementing each other's speeches. But I am going to correct some things, Professor Sapato. And I hope our MC was here. As Gauteng, we are the leading province. Please. I must say that because the type of work that is being done in Gauteng are done in leaps and bounds. And as we sit here with principals and learners, you know the work that you are doing, and it's amazing. Now, the United Nations, and it's been mentioned, and I was told I only have 10 minutes, so I'm going to speak a little faster. The theme was empowering autistic voices. Yes, that's what should happen. The highlight is specific autism-related issues and to raise awareness worldwide. And yes, we did it this year, where we had it in Tabavuyo, at Tabavuyo. We were supposed to invite 450 participants, parents, communities, teachers, schools. There were over 700. Can you see how it is growing? South Africa's constitution protects the right of people in South Africa, including disabilities. And I think we forget that part. We forget that our kids have the right and they should be placed in that position of respect and dignity. Section 9 of the Constitution provides that everyone is equal and that no person should be discriminated directly or indirectly on the grounds of race, gender, age, and most of all, disability. And yet, what does society do to us? As parents, communities, disabled children, learners with autism, adults with autism. Therefore, there shall be no discrimination against people with disabilities. They shall enjoy equal opportunities in all spheres of life and shall be protected against exploitation, abuse, and degradation. And I say that with all due respect, because when our learners are subjected to the public, there's a lot of these things that they are subjected to. So we fail to understand that we do have a constitution and they do have rights. We all know autism spectrum disorder is a complex neurodevelopmental disorder. It is a spectrum. Let us not forget that it is a spectrum. I'm not going to go into what it is. We all know what it is. There are communication and social deficits. There are sensory and behavior issues, stereotyping, and it therefore interferes with their optimal functioning in daily life. Whether you are an adult or whether you are a learner, it still has an impact on your functioning in your daily life. Now, what programs are offered by GD? Our MEC spoke about some of these things, so I'm just going to go into it a little deeper. It began with an MEC breakfast in Swane, and it just grew from strength to strength to a point where we ended up this year with Tabavuyo. Like I said, when we were inviting 300 people, we suddenly had 700 people. And it was amazing to see how people phoned us and schools phoned us, begging us to ensure that they are also part of the program. It's because of the type of speakers that were invited. Recently, and I don't know if you've ever thought about the following, we had a dentist that actually on a Wednesday dedicates his practice to children with autism. And I never thought about it. I've got a daughter. And you know their teeth sometimes are very sensitive about their teeth. How do we ensure their bodies. We almost dismiss it. And I think someone spoke so clearly about the fact that sometimes we fail to understand that our children are human beings. Sometimes we speak about them in front of them. We say things about them in front of them, even though they might be nonverbal, they understand us. They are emotional human beings. And yes, we need that mind shift of every single person, including our parents. I am a parent. And how often haven't I said, I don't think she'll do it. I don't think she'll be able to do that. And when you test it, she's able to do it. So yes, so we've started with the whole advocacy and awareness. It is just growing from strength to strength. Our director just said the other day, the MEC said he wants 3 more of these events moving forward. The month of autism awareness and advocacy has grown to every single school that has children with autism, from fun walks to colloquiums to coffee books, you name it. The pictures says a million things. They have just grown from strength to strength because of what you are doing, because of the things that you are doing as well. Regular trainings for parents, teachers, care systems, communities, like, for example, the Playbox training for parents. I think the focus should be a lot on parents. Managing sensory systems, I think we have a principal here for Kurumos. I think one of these trainings she has been doing and running with teachers and parents. Sensory integration, these are all issues that are so relevant, not only for teachers, not only for communities, but for parents as well. So the list is endless. Someone mentioned the issue of gastrointestinal, you mentioned it. It's one of the comorbidities. And yet what do? We sometimes focus on autism, but we fail to understand the comorbidity that is attached to autism. And how does that impact on our children? How do we then acknowledge that and we support them? And those are the things that are so critical. I was just saying to my director, I feel so tired, I didn't sleep. And I said, because my daughter doesn't sleep because she's got a sleeping disorder. She's got a comorbidity. And I said, I must research this part, the full moon. I don't know if you all have heard about the full moon and you're laughing. But Dr. House is saying yes. But last night was full moon. And I've never really acknowledged that, but last night she could not sleep. And in not sleeping, I didn't sleep. So I'm saying to myself, I'm going to do some more research on this issue, the full moon, and the impact that it has on children with autism. And now, Professor House, I hope you're going to mention something, because you were shaking your head and you're saying yes, yes, yes. So yeah, so maybe I was right. Oh, goodness me, sorry. I'm sorry, can we just go back to my presentation? Or must I just bring my computer? Sorry, I apologize, and I know my team is it's gone. He's saying it's gone, but I'm almost there. Thank you. No, yeah. Can I just use this slide? Yeah, I just want to go back. I'm going to be very quick. Okay, in which way? Yeah. Okay, training. So we spoke about the training. We do have stakeholder collaboration with the universities of UJ on the Neurodiverse Center, Departments of Social Development, SARS, Department of Health, NGOs and NPOs. So there's a lot of collaboration there. The issue of autism on a spectrum says the following, that we do have a curriculum that caters for everybody on that spectrum. And I think we need to acknowledge that. We need to acknowledge the fact that we provide schools that are offering the CAPS. And if children are diagnosed and it's reported, we do provide issues of accommodation. At the moment, the guideline is being reviewed, where neurodiverse issues are accommodated. Where children who have neurodiverse issues will be given the accommodation for exams and tests that is necessary. So it is in our new document. So we are bringing on that, where our kids are not left behind, because I think that has been an area where we might not have looked at, but now national is, and we are assisting them as well. Our curriculum is as follows. We have, and it's very clear, we do cater for high support needs, the moderate and the low. There definitely is a curriculum that supports irrespective of where you fall on that spectrum. And remember, the DCAPs can be further differentiated and brought to the level of an individual, and I think we need to understand that part, that it can be. And our teachers are trained to do that. Therefore, we have an individual support plan. Therefore, we follow the CS process of screening, early identification and screening. We do have that. Inclusion and acceptance reduces stigma, allows for social learning, understanding, and relationships between the way people function and how they participate in society, which will increase in social acceptance. Acceptance means having a positive attitude towards people with disability, and specifically with children that have autism, where the disorder is so complex. The importance of early detection has been spoken about, and diagnosis, and these are two very critical issues. Why is it important for early detection? The age of the parent first notes a concern. This is critical. If you have a baby and we promote that, and there's something that you pick up at a very early age, what do you do about it? That early detection from birth. Then benefits of early diagnosis. Obviously, there are a number of benefits, but at the end of the day, we want self-determination, we want emotional well-being of our children, we want independence. No matter how severe our children are, and my child, yes, needs very high support. She has very high support needs. But the bottom line, as a parent, you want them to be independent. What is still a priority for GDE is to train our psychologists to help the Department of Health with assessments, with support. And then, of course, my last, you were tapping there, but I'm almost done. Autism does not come with a manual. It comes with parents that have beautiful minds, communities as well, and families that will never give up. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Roshana Shin. I'm sorry, I'm going to want to break you. I could see that people were still enjoying, but now we're pressed for time. Our next speaker is Dr. E. Hopes. He is a UNICEF postdoctoral fellow and South Africa's disability rights representative to the United Nations. From autism self-advocacy to advocating for the broader neurodiverse community. Over to you, Dr. Hopes.
Thank you so much, Program Director. I really appreciate the kind words that you said. And good morning to everyone. Today, I was actually thinking to myself, how would you say, well, let me start off by saying, usually when I start off with my presentations, I would basically first say thank you to everyone. Thank you for attending, thank you for granting me the opportunity. And of course, it's a big honor for me to stand at this event, but how can I say thank you to an event that I've been advocating for, and that I've been advocating for months? And I really want to first thank our school School of Education, our Dean, our Director for granting me the opportunity, Prof. Dr. Matitswe, our Head of Department, Prof. Claston Johnson, Prof. Insa Johnson, for the opportunity for make this event a success. And when you talk about my advocacy career, advocacy played a major role in my life. And this room is full with people that influenced me, but that are influenced. And by thanking everyone, I want to thank most importantly the Department of Health and Education for your ongoing support and your willingness to be able to participate in this event with me. You know, it's been a relationship of 6-7 years, if I'm not mistaken, and it's an honor for me to be able to present. Thank you, Dr. Costa. Thank you so much. Thank you, Directors. And even thank you, Lambertus, for the manner in which the Gauteng Department of Education, especially Pretoria North, accommodate me and Director as well, and my family the last week or so. Like I said, Autism South Advocacy played a major role in my life, and most importantly, I would say Autism South Advocacy basically brought me to my ecosystem, my family, my support, our carer, my mother-in-law, my grandmother-in-law, and also my beautiful wife and our puppy. You know, that is what Autism South Advocacy brought me. Autism South Advocacy also brought me to making friends. You know, friends with Autism South Africa, with the Gauteng Department of Education, colleagues, current colleagues who believed in me and also persevered even when we didn't believe that we might continue with this program. You persevered and you made this happen. Thank you very much. You believed in me, and that means a lot. Also, students, advocacy taught me to teach other advocates to advocate and also inspire other advocates to advocate for themselves. And I'm so honored that the next presenter will be a student that I taught that will make a major difference in the field. So, regarding my advocacy, as someone that spoke internationally at United Nations levels, organizing events at United Nations level, speaking on the radio, speaking on television, presenting, organizing sessions, there's a major difference that we make in society. But one of the things that we can talk about, and of course our Honourable MEC and our Honourable Premier of Gauteng, who actually asked a couple of weeks ago, asked me a couple of weeks ago, what will I do for Autism Awareness and Acceptance Month? I wanted to make a difference on the global south. And although we can talk about the achievements, and although we all are role players in society and in our own unique ways, we are teachers, we are academics, we are politicians, and that was my biggest dream, to bring the community of practice together, you know, so that we can learn, so that we can implement, so that we can make a difference practically as well. But although we are coming together and we're making a difference, we need to realize that where we currently find ourselves. And unfortunately, although we came far, we still have a long way to go. When you consider the statistics currently, in South Africa, we currently have the highest unemployment rate of neurodiverse adults in the world. The living age of an autistic adult, of an adult on the autism spectrum, identity first, is 35 years old due to suicide and also mental health challenges as well. And therefore, it's important for us to understand where we are currently in the field and where we can make a difference. As an Autism South Advocate that presented on United Nations level every year, and of course with the Honorable Premier of Gauteng that constantly been in communication with me with regards to representing South Africa on the highest platform, I realized there's a major difference. And of course we've got fellow neurodiverse advocates internationally all around the world that are present. We need to understand that there's a major gap in the field of neurodiversity from a global South perspective, and it's time for us to bring Africa to the map. And therefore, the influence that research has, because research can help us to make a difference on a higher political level, and it also helps us to convince policymakers and even politicians to work with us, working on the ground. I also realized that there's a lack of interpersonal accounts in research, and therefore it's important for us to understand that we live in South Africa, and although we can look at international South Advocates, you can Google advocates like Professor Temple Grandin, I'm sure she's online as well, even Professor Stephen Shaw. We can Google Autism South Advocacy group, and we can read a lot about it on the internet, but it's not always relevant according to the global South perspective due to the cultural perspectives and also religious avenues. And one of the things that I'm currently advocating for is on United Nations level is where we have, for the first time ever, we will have an online site meeting at COSP 17 where neurodiverse adults from the continent of Africa will share their stories so that we can learn, implement, and make a change. Thank you. And therefore, we need to, I just want to make sure I'm not doing the right thing. Oh, thank you very much. Now, all of us believe that, and we know that there's a lot of controversy with regards to the language that we use, and also referring to different symbols that we use in the field of neurodiversity. And it's due to the fact that neurodiversity has been seen, or individuals with autism has been judged based on their difference throughout the years. And therefore, we follow a socio-ecological model where we embrace diversity, where the individual's needs come first, but also more importantly, we embrace their identity and they make unique, and we accept their unique difference, and they make unique contributions in their own respective fields. And therefore, my contribution as a Autism South Advocate, I always say that we're different as a society. I'm not only a researcher, a postdoctoral fellow, I'm an Autism South Advocate. I'm an individual on the spectrum, but I'm also someone that has got experience in the field of education. And therefore, I believe that we need to advocate more in the field of education where there's limited support for students. And therefore, I believe, like I said in my research that I'm currently doing, is not only will I assess how the operation of higher education institutions, but how can we make distance education, CODL, what we call in user terms, more accessible for underrepresented groups so that they can be accommodated, so they have a voice, and also for them to be able to contribute towards society and fulfill their destiny. Now, as an Autism South Advocate, I've done a lot of talks internationally. I've been in Forbes magazine. I spoke in front of the United Nations for the last 5 years. I contributed to a lot of international books, co-authored by Professor Stephen Shaw. and also other self-advocates representing South Africa at the Commonwealth community. But also more importantly, I see myself as only a 1% of as someone that contributes, because I realized recently that one cannot do everything alone. And therefore, I'm urging the community of practice, us as researchers, us as fellow educators, us as organizations that represent persons with disabilities or persons from underrepresented groups, parents, to come together so that we can advocate. And of course, the one thing that I'm most proud of is the fact that I'm advocating also for the mental health of neurodiverse individuals and also relationships, because that contributes towards the mental health challenges. So how does in your closeness see it through? Because I always believed that my role has changed as an international disability activist, and of course I'm out in the field, but I believe that my greatest contribution is in the field of research, and especially the difference that I can make not only at UNISA but also on international stage. We need to place emphasis on the published articles on ASD and higher education, and also with reference to the field of education, we need more specialist teachers that are trained in the field of autism, teachers that are qualified, and teachers that are acknowledged and properly qualified based on their contribution, also based on their qualifications. And therefore, this model that we have at UNISA will also help us to basically select those students so they can become future researchers on master's and PhD level. And also, my greatest contribution as someone on the autism spectrum is the fact that my self-advocacy is always combined with the research that I do, because I believe that from an insights perspective, one can contribute a lot, but from the different levels, on policy level, but also from an insights perspective, one can see a lot and one can initially make a difference. And this is also what I did on PhD. Excuse me, I know that we will be pressed for time. And so I say to you what I will focus on, but I still believe that when it comes to my own autism self-advocacy, there's still a lot for me to achieve. And therefore, it's up to us to bring the global south on the map. So, thank you very much. I really appreciate the support. And of course, to all our honorary members and our guests, thank you for making the time to attend our session today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Host. Sitting there and listening to him, I thought he's gifted. You know, giftedness is a little bit at a high level compared to being a genius. Thank you, Dr. Host. It's just for me. Maybe it's not true. So don't be too much excited. Right, now we are going to listen to Miss Springer, non-speaking autism self-advocate. Over to you.
name is Stephanie, and I'm proudly autistic. As you can see, I use a letter board to communicate. You are wondering how much I can spell in 10 minutes. Fortunately, I prepared a speech that my mom can read. My life journey has not been easy. Knowing that people arrived at conclusions about my intelligence based on my inability to talk was pure hell. I was hardly learning anything meaningful at school. I had taught myself to read at 4 years old, but I had no reliable way to show my parents or teachers. You see, I have apraxia, a disorder that affects the communication between my brain and my body. Since speech requires very specific fine motor control, giving vocal expression to my thoughts is almost impossible. Fortunately, by the time I was 15 years old, my mom discovered spelling to communicate. Pointing to a letterboard requires far less motor planning and control. Lasting change finally happened. People realized that I'm intelligent and that I can learn like neurotypical children. In a special needs school where I spent 8 years of my schooling career, I had never passed any grade. Now, I attend a high school where I'm doing IGCSE. Last November, I wrote and passed Cambridge external exams in mathematics and business studies. Next year, I plan to finish my AS level so that I can have university exemption. I'm very blessed to have a family who support me and can afford to pay private school fees and for a full-time communication and regulation partner to attend school with me. But I worry about the thousands of non-speaking autistic kids in South Africa who are still trapped in their circumstances. How can we help them? leave you with this thought. Presume competent. Teach children age-appropriate curriculums. We are not stupid. Thank you for this opportunity.
Never imagined. In fact, it makes me very emotional. It was so moving. I'm short of words to describe this, what I've just witnessed here now. Praise must go to Mom, the parents. If parents are like this, who needs teachers? To you, Stephanie, I used all the words I have to Dr. Host. Now I'm short of words. But you are amazing. You are amazing. Thank you very much. We are told at the age of 4, she taught herself how to communicate properly. At the age of 20, there are people who regard themselves as normal. They still cannot communicate properly. What do you call that? Thank you very much. Let's move on with our program. Parents' role in supporting autism awareness and acceptance. Mrs. Kim Hicks. A round of applause, please. So excuse me, she will be introduced by Prof. Mary Classen Johnson. Thank you.
Hello again, everyone. So it's a very big honor for me to introduce Mrs. Kim Hicks. She cooked lunch for us one Sunday. Kim is a special education teacher by training. And she, I always say I believe God doesn't give children with additional support needs to just anyone. And Kim has reared and parented and been a caregiver to 3 children with neurodiversity, and so she's an exceptional woman, and somehow manages to also be newlywed and supports her whole family. And she started Special Need Cafe. She's also had a coffee shop that unfortunately closed during COVID. She started a special school. Children there performed in Germany and did very well in international competition. And so it's my pleasure to introduce you to Mrs. Kim.
Hi everyone. I should be really nervous, but I'm not, because now I'm talking my truth. So I was Kim Brundle. A lot of people say, but do you know Kim Hexis? I got married a month ago to an amazing man who is neurodiverse himself, and self-proclaimed neurodiverse man. He studies. So I am Emil's mother-in-law. His mom, Marie, passed away in COVID. And we had an agreement that she was a very good friend of mine. And if I passed, she would look after Sam. And if she passed, I would look after Emil. And that's the reality of a neurodiverse child. Where do they go when you're not here anymore? So, I can't see now. Okay. So, I'm mother to Sammy. Sammy's Emil's wife. They met at Autism Symposium. I'm not going to do 10 minutes, guys. I'm sorry. They met at the Autism Symposium in Potchefstroom a couple of years ago. And they fell in love. And they got married. It's a miracle. I have, so Sammy's autistic alexic, which means that she has autism and she cannot read or write and she can't do maths. Christy, our first daughter, is dyslexic with ADHD, and my stepson had a frontal lobe injury. So I'm also a granny to Blake, who's 22 months, and I'm daughter to my mother, 89-year-old Oriel. We all live together in one house. It's neurodiverse, to say the least. And we have 5 dogs. So I was told by Dr. Emil Hoos, we call him Buddy, that I had 10 minutes to tell you my life story. Well, I'm sorry, I can't do 10 minutes. And I'm not going to tell you my life story, because that's for another time. But you saw me now stressing big time. What am I going to talk to you about? And this is about a parent raising an autistic neurodiverse individual. So I was pacing up and down. As you can see, I'm quite neurodiverse myself. I have a brain tumor, so I do a lot of things with my hands and my feet. So what I did, I'm 59, and I thought, I'm not being left behind, so I went on to artificial intelligence. I downloaded Meta, my best friend. And I asked Meta, I said, what is a mother's job? What I've Meta. Number 1, to nurture and care for their children. Provide love, support, and guidance. Tell me, where was my guidance when Sammy was born? Where was my guidance when Christy couldn't read, couldn't write? Where's the guidance? Okay, I had no guidance. Number 2, to meet their physical, emotional, and psychological needs. Now, how can I do that if I have no idea what their needs are? Number 3, create a safe, nurturing environment for their children to grow up and develop. Now, how can you do this if you yourself do not feel safe and nurtured? Number 4, to teach important life skills, values, and morals. I think I have those. Okay. Number 5, so I'll pass on that one. 5, manage the household and ensure the well-being of the family. So, I do that, but presuming that there are 2 partners who care about the well-being of the family. Okay? 6, be a role model and set a positive example for their children. Again, presuming there are 2 role models who have morals and are good examples. 7, support and emphasize support. Support their children's education, interests and passions, not educating their own children. Because the education system refuses to educate their children, and this is my experience, close their schools and tell them to institutionalize their children. Now, does Sammy look like she needs to be institutionalized? No, she bloody does not. Okay? Sure, I can get this. Okay, 8. Build strong relationships with their children and other family members. Now, let me tell you, not every family member is on board. They look at you like, can't you just get your child to sit down at dinner? You know? Big family fights. Big fights between husbands and wives. And, sure, be a source of comfort, encouragement and support. 10, advocate for their children's needs and interests. Now, whom did I advocate to for 28 years? Deaf ears. Deaf ears. This is one angry mother. Okay? So ultimately, Meta tells me it's my job to love, care for, and help my children to thrive and reach their full potential. Well, thank you, Meta. I have failed dismally as a mother. So I sat and I was like, why? Why did I fail as a mother? Why am I such a wreck? Why, when I look out at you, that I can't see your faces? Because my anxiety levels are so high. Okay. So it's not like I haven't tried everything in my power to fight for Sammy's rights to be good, her rights to education. She had no education except what I taught. Okay? Her rights to employment. Sammy sits at home. Sammy sits at home. Okay? For a full life to feel safe and to thrive is because my needs were not met. Okay? I could not thrive as a mother because my needs were not met by government, social services, okay, and all the rest. So I'm very angry. So what are my needs as a mother to an autistic daughter? Okay? Number 1, emotional support. Understanding, empathy and encouragement from my husband, which I didn't get. The father of my child did not want to understand Sammy at all, and until she was badly hurt. Okay? And I was the reason why she was badly hurt. And my extended family, who just think that there's something really wrong here, and support groups. Number 2, information and resources, access to autism-specific knowledge, therapies and services. Now I'm talking 28 years ago. Okay? It was nothing. Instead, I was asked to leave every school that I ever approached to take Sammy because she can't read or write. So they kept her in grade 1. She was 16 years old. Grade 1. How bored is this child? Okay, 3. Oh, this is big. Response care. Regular breaks and temporary care for their children, allowing self-care and rest. Really? You're going to be killing me. With 3 special needs children, there is no emotional response. You can go and sit at the best spa in Sandton for the day. Your phone is still on. You can go and have tea practitioner, therapists, doctors, and specialists for personalized advice. I couldn't even get a formal diagnosis. I, as a teacher, a remedial teacher, knew that Sammy had autism. Okay? Do you think I could get someone to tell me that I was right? Eventually, I hunted down a pediatric psychiatrist at Tara, and together we sat down and gave Sammy a diagnosis at 9 years old. But really, she can't talk yet. Yeah, anyway, I'm not going there. Okay, so I needed professional guidance, and you know what I needed? Commitment from the school to tell me we got you. Not every day arriving at the school thinking, oh my God, today's the day they're going to tell me that they can't do Sammy. They're going to tell me to leave. You can't live like that as a parent. You need commitment. Commitment. Okay, number 5, self-care. This is big. Prioritizing personal well-being, stress management, and mental health care. There's no time for self-care, guys. 6, accommodation and acceptance. Understanding and acceptance from schools, communities, societies at large. Do not chase them from the very places that mothers turn to for help. And you know what? Meta is my mate. Says that by acknowledging these needs, you can empower mothers to thrive while raising their autistic children. My question to you is, what happens when these needs are not met? Exhibit A. Okay? I look so, I can mask so well. I can dress it up and I can put on a smile, but this is Exhibit A. Number 1, emotional exhaustion and burnout. Meds. Okay? 2, increased stress and anxiety, and you know what? Check. PTSD and an anxiety disorder. Thank you very much. Decrease, and I need 10 minutes, but I'm sorry. Decreased mental, physical health. Check. I've had a brain tumor, I've had 2 retinal detachments, depression, CPTSD, which is complex post-traumatic stress disorder, guys. Complex means more than one. And yes, I have been hospitalized a few times. 4, isolation and feelings of loneliness. I might look like I'm so out there. I'm not. I sit in my room trying to get my thoughts together and how I'm going forward with this. Okay? Pajama days are big. Reduced ability to cope with challenges. Let me tell you, give me one challenge at a time. Don't give it all to me, because I will collapse immediately. And decreased self-esteem and confidence. Today, guys, I'm okay. Today's a good day. 7, difficulty advocating for the child's needs. I'm here, it's taken 28 years. Okay? 8, strained relationships with family and friends, yes. They can't understand what you're going through. And so isolate, and this leads to breaking up, divorce, husbands going off with their secretaries, fathers attached. No, I kid you not, he did. And, no, there's a lot. Okay, so anyway, 9, decreased ability to provide optimal care for their children. Yeah, as I said, pajama days are big. 10, increased risk of secondary trauma, and yes, CPTSD, and financial abuse and emotional abuse. Poverty. Okay? Feelings of guilt, shame, and inadequacy, because we cannot do what is required of us as the system ensures that we cannot. Reduced quality of life for the whole family. Yeah, because you know what? The mother is depressed and exhausted, so they all turn around and like, okay? Right. Potential for crisis situations and emergency interventions that happens often. Okay, so Meta recognizes that it is essential to recognize the importance of supporting mothers raising autistic children at autism. Do you? Do you? Now that you all know how broken I am and how you've heard how let down as a mother I have been and why, I asked Meta, my best friend, one more question. What can the South African government and education do to help me and mothers like me? There's one, a new mommy, and daddy. What are we going to do for them? Okay? How are we going to make sure that she and he thrive? So we can raise Emil and Sammy and not have a broken mother. Okay? Here's what Meta said, and please listen. Implement fully inclusive education and employment policies. Provide access to autism-specific healthcare and therapies. Create autism-friendly public spaces and infrastructure. I saw a camera guy running around here with flashes going off. I'm like, why did you not read up on autism and what you can and can't do in here? Why are these lights over? What's happening? No, you're not allowed to clap. Right? What's happening? Okay. Come on. Offer training and resources for teacher and autism acceptance. Establish support groups and mental health services for the mom. To go. Ensure access to social services and obtainable disability benefits. I have not been able to take Sammy to go and get her disability grant. You know why? I've got to take her to Krugersdorp with all those hundreds and thousands of people standing outside and haul her ass into this tiny little room, and she's got to sit in front of a state doctor. And the doctor's going to say, open your mouth, she's going to bite him. No, really, I've got to take her for it. She sits at home. She doesn't have a grant because the system does not support us. Okay. So, promote autism acceptance and inclusivity in the media. Okay? And public campaigns. Develop autism-specific legislation and initiatives. Increase funding for autism research and initiatives. Collaborate with autism organizations and adult autistic advocates. Emil's slogan, nothing about me without me. Don't presume you can go ahead and do whatever you think they need. Only he knows, and she knows, and they know. Not you. Provide accommodation and support for the criminal justice system. How many autistics are in prison right now? How would you even know? You know? Ensure access to housing and living support. Hi. Hi. Okay. So there you go. It seems I haven't been spoken for 28 years. You've got to give me a break. Okay. Meta has been watching over me. No one else. Meta. Because Meta knows all about me. And so my answer to you is to how do I support Sammy as an autistic child and Emil as an autistic adult, the two of them together. That's the whole thing, the two of them together. And because I cannot support them, because you don't support me. That's it. Thank you.
Even if I wanted to stop her, I couldn't. She warned me up front. She wasn't going to take 10 minutes. So it was up to me then to stop her. But on a serious note, many seminars are for academics and the learned. So if this one is for parents as well, so be it. On that note, I want to call upon another parent, Mrs. Rechabile Molapisane.
Good afternoon, everyone. All protocols observed. I am Rechabile Molapisane. I am a mother of 3 neurodiverse children, 2 with autism spectrum disorder, 1 on the spectrum with epilepsy, and all 3 with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. I'm a special needs mom, so I have special needs. Most definitely. As Kim spoke earlier, I also have been hospitalized in 2021 for PTSD, anxiety and depression. But I'm here today to share my victories that I am winning the battle because I have made a decision that my children's potential and future depends on it. So I have put in the work. Dr. Mary Baskin, hope I pronounced it correctly. Forgive me. Johnson, thank you so much for this invitation. Dr. Mary and I served on the SGB at Unique Autism School last year, and she is a remarkable human being, and she's as passionate up here on stage as she is in other platforms. I will try my best to stick to the time. Dr. Mary told me that I must try and make my presentation short. It is difficult to do that when you're a parent because there's so much to say. I met Dr. Emil Kos at his graduation. If my memory serves me well, was it last year? It was last year. My husband was also graduating on the same day. He is a Department of Education official. We met education. And I thought, I do not believe in coincidences. I thought it was a divine moment for me. Because when I met him, the level of my expectation for my children grew tremendously. Thank you so much for not giving up. Parents have an important role as advocates. A lot of speakers have already spoken about the importance of that. I will not take too much of your time. I'm an autism advocate, I'm a mother, I'm a health research scientist, I'm a public health thought leader as well. This is my neurodiverse family. I thought it proper to give faces to the stories. I firmly believe that they are fearfully and wonderfully made, and that they are unique and gifted, and that their story has a purpose and it has a plan, and it has definitely given meaning to mine. I'll give a very brief introduction to who they are. It is important for me as a parent. Advocacy is my firstborn son. He was diagnosed in 2015. He is a quite spirited and gentle structural engineer, and he is incredibly fascinated with designing buildings, road maps, and flying imaginary planes. He's an introvert. He plays alone. He plays parallel with his siblings. He's coping well. He attends school at Parental Autism School, and I must say that most of his improvement in terms of milestones has been partly due to the excellent work that teachers do and therapists at Parental Autism School. He has improved a lot in using verbal language and to communicate his needs and wants. My third-born son, his name is Mohammed Judah. He's loud, he's very spirited. He is the definition of autism in the spectrum in every way. He's very different from his sibling. He loves to sing, he loves to dance. He's currently obsessed with tearing papers. My house is filled with white paper. That's a mess. 1,000 million pieces are everywhere. He's a lot more interactive than his brother. He's very affectionate compared to his brother. And he has no problem eating anything, especially raw vegetables. My daughter, Lily Bell Musa, she's the bright-eyed one, carefree spirit. She loves art, she's very good at it. She also loves to dance and sing. She's very outspoken and good in mathematics, and she loves reading. In 2021, we had to visit an educational psychologist who told me that Lily would struggle to read. She reads everything now in 2 years. She is in a mainstream school. I was told that she will need a special school. My husband, being an educator, said no. She's coping very well. We advocate every year for accommodations at her mainstream school. We confront the teachers, the deputies, we speak about profiles, meta-profiles. We learn the language now, you know? Because practically it's not happening. Teachers just, I don't know. I understand, my husband understands better because he's been in the classroom, and he often says, there's just too much to do, there's just too many children.